Got it.
Right. Okay. So before we start, Warapon, do you want to say something? And we'll start for the day.
So welcome back, everyone. Nice to see your old faces again. So first of all, it's Happy New Year. And I hope you enjoy your time for break during the Christmas and New Year. So welcome back and boost up again for this year.
Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. After 2 months, after 2 months of a gap, and apologies for last week because of power cut. We didn't have a power for 5 days, and it was cold and snow. So it's another beautiful time to reflect. And also mobile phones were not working either. Anyway, so we are back today to practice after New Year. Two New Years already gone. One is 2021 and becoming 22, and the Chinese New Year. And now this is time to boost. I hope you all have a booster already to protect from COVID first. And now it is time to boost our mind. Yeah. Protect from all these negativities. So this booster is a different booster. As there is a saying in Buddhist scripture, all experience is preceded by mind, led by mind, made by mind. So, and after that, whatever one speaks or act with that the corrupted mind, then the suffering will follow. So, in the meanwhile, if a person will speak or act with the peaceful mind, happiness will follow, like the shadow follows you. So I think I have mentioned this saying a long time ago as well, that every action and that we perform, it has a reaction, and that reaction is based on our mental state. Our mental state defines our happiness and suffering. So meditation helps us to make a choice, the right choice, to be happy in our day-to-day life, and we can use it in everyday life to be happy. So that is the essence of meditation. And as we know that meditation, I just want to recap and then going with the scripture this year. So I want to give you a basic ideas first, that we know there are, it's too bright, huh? The sun rises here. There are two types of meditations. That is, one is called a Summative Meditation, and another one is a Vipassana Meditation. Now, Summative Meditation, basically, it leads to a calmness of our mind, a tranquility, or it leads to a complete oneness. And there are various of objects that we can use it to concentrate on. It is basically a way to suppress all the negativities that always brings unhappiness. So that is a samatha, or the concentration meditation. And the second type of a meditation is known as Vipassana meditation, or also English translation is insight meditation, that leads to the insight, understanding true nature, the true nature of things, including ourself, our feelings, our emotions, and so on. Understanding that nothing remains the same, everything must change. What remains the same and causes a trouble to us is our grasp on it. Actually, in this practice, we, rather than suppressing our feelings, emotions, and we are holding to be as it is, as we want it to be, we are learning to see that as natural things happens in it. Okay? Now, samatha meditation or concentration meditation is essential in the practice. That's simply because we have been accustomed to think and lost into the thoughts. And we are not within ourselves, always in somewhere else. Right? So that's why a samatha meditation is a technique to bring our mind back to the moment and developing our focus concentration. And that development brings peace, tranquility, and serenity in our minds and heart. Now, in the practice, samatha meditation or concentration meditation is basically unification of mind so that we will have a greater energy. I normally think of the electricity, that the electricity is produced through the concentrated water and releasing from one narrow holes or narrow doors, and that hits the motor and then creates the power. And same with our mind too. When our mind is scattered all around, at that moment we do not have strength to deal with it. The more we lost into the thoughts and the questions and doubts and worries and fears, then we cannot make right decisions. And as a result of that, we lost the plot and we become more disturbed. So practice of a meditation is collecting those scattered mind and uniting it. Okay? And that unification brings the power, so-called mind power. Okay? And that is why first we have to unite our mind. And this is the practice. And in the practice of the unification of the mind, we can use various of objects, any objects that pleases you. Most of the time in Buddhist practice, and even now modern discourses, they're using breath as a form of a practice. So breathing meditation is one of the objects. In a Buddhist tradition, there is 40 different types of categories that we can use an object to concentrate, and one of them is breathing meditation. Now, breathing meditation is famous because it is with us and we can play and we can work with it. Right? And in the practice of a samatha meditation or the concentration meditation, now we have to visualize the object or locate the object, such as the breath. So we have to locate where the breath is, where we can concentrate. By focusing on that, we basically suppress all the negativities or hindrances, so-called, and with that, with the great intention to pay attention to that the breath as an object of concentration and paying attention to it continuously, then that brings the mind brings together. And the benefit of this practice, basically, mind becomes one-pointed and also free from all the disturbances, and there will be no wandering thoughts. It is form of like training a wild animal, which I have used the simile of training a wild horse. If you remember that, training a wild horse. So the moment when we got the wild horse, we have to follow, we have to train. So we have to tame and train. And this is exactly the same with our mind too. So we have to follow this mind, and after following, become a friend with this mind. We tame it, and after we tame it, we will train it. A training process is basically, it's like from a wild animal to the domesticated animal. It's like dogs and cats. Before you train, they are just wild animals. But the moment you become a friend, familiar with it, and then gradually you can train them as we wish it to be. And that's how we train these wild animals, and they become domesticated, and we can use it for our own right purposes. Okay, so mind is like that. Now our mind is, that's why classified as a wild horse or a wild bull, and also a wild monkey. So there is a concept of a wild monkey, monkey mind, and now we are simply training. And once we train this monkey, and then we can use it for better purposes in our life. So with this in mind, let's practice meditation, just to bring your scattered mind, busy mind, and have a development of a concentration, and then we'll go further from there. Okay, so sitting in a comfortable position. So sit in a comfortable position and leave all your responsibilities and worries aside, and connect with the body as you are sitting here and now. So as you're sitting comfortably, imagining that you are sitting in front of the mirror and looking at your sitting body. And checking, is there any discomfort in your body? And relax them. And after that, you may spend a little bit of time on the breath. So intentionally paying attention to the deep breaths a couple of times, maybe about 3 times. And pay attention to the breath at your nose. In a nostril, breathing in and breathing out. So as we are practicing the Summative Meditation or concentration meditation, discarding any thoughts that invades, ignoring them, try to focus on the breath as it goes in and coming out at the nostrils. So visualizing as breathing in and breathing out takes place. and feeling as it comes in and goes out. And mentally knowing it. This is breathing in, this is breathing out. By feeling at your nose. So mindfully breathing in and breathing out, and consciously you're knowing it. So breathing in and breathing out. Now try to remember that whatever thought comes or whatever any other distraction comes, this is a moment we are not paying any attention to these things, but ignoring them and paying attention to the breath coming in and going out. Breathing in, breathing out. Maintain your focus attention on the breath. Maintaining your attention at the nose. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay. So breathing in and breathing out. And as you hear gong, you can slowly open your eyes and come out from meditation. Okay. So this is just to recap from our practice to gain the concentration, as we have been coming back after 2 months. So just to wound up ourselves to go into the meditative state. So that is called the Summative Meditation or concentration meditation. So it requires a lot of a practice and intention to pay attention to the object. Yeah. So anybody wants to share anything, you're most welcome, or any question if you want to ask. No? Okay. So, right, okay. Now, in the concentration meditation, this is again according to the scripture, there are 40 different types of meditation objects, the categories, not 40 types, it is 40 categories of meditation objects, and which is again divided into 7 different categories. Right? So number 1 is called a kasina, and that is basically a device. So making a device, and then you're concentrating on mentally verbalizing on that device or focusing on. Yeah, so that's the first one, and the second one is a asubha, is a fullness of the body, a decaying of the body, and anusati is a recollection of the different virtues, and that recollection section comes the anapanasati, or the breathing meditation. And the number 4 is Brahma Vihara, or the divine abode, that concentrating on the qualities of metta, the loving kindness, compassion, and sympathetic joy. And the last one is equanimity, so learning to keep a balanced mind. And that is a Brahma Vihara. And then the number 5th is called Arupa Jhanas, and that is again experience of a formless state, and that this is again mostly on a relationship with the mind only. We're concentrating on the mental activities and how one attains the stages. And number 6, this is about the perception and the loathsomeness of food, how food or nutrition affects our body and the mind. And nutritions are important for sustaining our body as well as our mind too. Our mind also will not survive without feeding it. And that feeding, again, we're feeding through eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and even mind. So that is the 6th one. And the last one is called the defining the 4 elements. So our body is combination of 4 elements. 4 elements combined created this material body. So these are the 7 categories, which is divided into 40 different groups of a meditation object. And these are, again, we can use it for developing our concentration And Anapana, or the breathing meditation, is used both to concentrate or developing our concentration, as well as we can use it for the day-to-day practice too. Right? And this is the basic way of looking at the teachings on the meditation. The second practice is called a Vipassana meditation. Again, and this Vipassana meditation is, we are not taking any objects out of our body, but within our body, understanding our mind-body, understanding how our mind-body works, and changing our perceptions to the things that we come across. Changing our perceptions, and that's how we change our attitude to the life, our feelings, emotions, perceptions, and so on. So this Vipassana meditation is very practical and also very good for our day-to-day life. It helps us to see things clearly, and seeing things clearly helps us to be happy in every situation, and every thing that we make a choice in our life, it becomes the good choice. Okay, so that's the Vipassana meditation. And in the Vipassana meditation, from next time, I will be focusing on the Satipatthana Sutta, which is the most used scripture discourse that speaks about the 4 foundations of mindfulness. So the concentration on the body, concentration on the feelings, concentration on the mind and mind objects. Okay, so we'll go through those stages gradually, and I will explain them gradually, and will guide you through the practice on that. So this is just a background. Anyone wants to share, or anyone wants to say anything on this subject? Well, okay, right. So in that case, I think I will again take you to the meditation. Okay? So let's do the practice again. The first body scan, 7 parts of the body scan, and then we'll go through the breathing practice. Okay, so as you hear a gong, let's practice meditation. So sitting comfortably, and I will guide you through. Okay, so bring your attention to the moment, here and now. Relax your entire body. And spend a few breaths, intentionally taking a few breaths. So long breath and release. And once again, I'm back to the concentration mode, paying attention to the nostril, incoming breath and outgoing breath for some time. And then after paying attention to it, shifting your attention to the 7 parts of the body. Your head, paying attention to all the sensations and feelings in your head. And then a right hand, paying attention to the sensations in your right hand. And then the left hand and front part of the body, back of the body, right leg and left leg. But before going into that stage, let's concentrate on the breath as it comes in and as it goes out until you attain relatively some calmness, a focused mind, and changing your attention to the 7 parts of the body. So continue practicing until you hear a gong. As you feel your mind is concentrated and free from all the disturbances, shifting your attention to your head, and paying attention to any feelings and sensations that is taking place in your head. And slowly shifting that attention to your right hand, from your neck, shoulder, right shoulder, the entire right hand. What are the sensations there? Any feelings of a heat or cold or heaviness, softness? Remember, do not move yourself. Do not move your hands, but simply paying attention to it, mindful of all the sensations that is taking place. So you may start from your neck, shoulder, your arms, and your hands, and the fingers. And then shifting that attention to your left hand, again starting from your neck, left shoulder, arm, hand, and fingers. This moment you may experience some form of tension in your shoulders or hands, making sure relax them. And shifting that attention to your right, your front part of the body, from the neck below, the chest, your belly. So the entire front part of the body, whatever sensations are there, just try to be mindful of it. And shifting that attention to your back of the body, so your entire back, from neck down to the bottom. And to your right leg, from the thigh and the leg and toes. Whatever sensations are there, be mindful of it. And then shifting that attention to the left leg, the entire leg, be mindful of it. So repeating a same pattern from the head to toes, going through each and every part, and be mindful of sensations as it appears to be at that time rather than as you want it to be. So continue practicing. these two practices, paying attention to the nose and the breathing in and breathing out, will help us to develop our focus attention, and 7 parts of the body scan helps us to develop our wisdom part, not only a concentration but also understanding the nature of things that changes. So every time, if you feel that you are lost as you are paying attention to the sensations in different parts, you can come back to the breath at the nose, settling down and grounding yourself, and then once your mind is settled, and back to the beginning of the head and observing the sensations in your head. As you hear a gong slowly coming out from meditation, reflect for a few moments. Okay. So this session would be concentrating on two aspects of the practice. That is the developing our focus concentration by paying attention to the breath at the nose. And the second is a practice of seven parts of a body scan. Okay? So these are two different parts, different practices that we will train for this month, and then we come back for the further other instructions. Okay, so this time, if you have anything you want to share, you're welcome, or any questions, most welcome.
I would like to share something. So I do the body scan already since quite a while. Every time I start meditation, the first 5 minutes, I'm about, good morning, Janine, how are you? How are you feeling? Body scan and everything. And all the body scans I knew before were starting with the feet, and I always found that more difficult when you are sitting. So I feel better when I do the body scan from the head to the feet, like you do it. Mm-hmm. And when I do it all alone, I'm just scanning more or less, but I'm not really consciously. Sorry, I will do the video also. I don't do really consciously right side, left side, and everything. And at the moment, I have some difficulties with my body, like all the articulations are hurting, and I work a lot with my body. So it's more the right side that is hurting because I'm very, very right side oriented. And so while you were doing it, maybe it's just a chance or something like that. Maybe it's just today, but whenever you were saying concentrate on the right side, I was in reality concentrating on the left side. And when you said concentrate on the left side, I said, oh, really? I didn't do that. And then I concentrated on the right side, and I realized that it was hurting quite a lot. And so maybe I just ignore half my body the whole time. At the moment. And so it was interesting. So I really concentrated also on the right side, and then the pain went a bit away.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. See, okay, number one, normally when we are practicing, quite often people will say, okay, I will just observe my body and I will just scan my body. But this body is so big, it's a massive molecule. It's very difficult to pinpoint where to pay attention to. And with that, mind will simply wander wherever it pleases, wherever it wants to see, wherever it wants to be. And that's no difference when we are not meditating, because when we are not meditating, we still let the mind wander wherever it likes. So by doing this systematically, it reminds us, oh, I'm missing here. Now I have to come back. So consciously, we are training this mind to be where it should be. So that is helping us to tame this mind. Okay, so we are learning this mind, and then we are also training this mind to be where we want it to be. And with that, it sharpens our consciousness, and that's consciousness is known as the mindfulness. Okay? And this mindfulness, another sense, it is known as a wisdom part. So we are sharpening our wisdom to see things as they truly are. So that's why we are doing systematically, rather than letting it choose wherever it wants to be. There is no difference between meditation and not meditating. Mind is always doing the same thing. Right? But when we are doing it, it is the different parts. And the second thing, now, the pain, the pain is one thing, our choice is another. Okay? And whenever we have a pain in our body or somewhere, what happens is that we have a perception that I have a pain in that particular place. So consciously, we become aware of that and we're perceiving it. And there is a word called grasping. And it's called upadana. In Pali word, it's called upadana. Means a grasping or holding or attachment. And then with that, whenever we want to move or whenever we want to pay attention to somewhere else, our attachment always brings that mind back to where we want it to be. So it's like an automatic mindset, bringing that mind in that particular place. And that's how we are drawn into our past memories that I used to have this pain there. And when we are meditating, actually the pain, when our attention is not there, the pain is not there. We do not feel that pain. Okay? In a practice, when we are paying attention to somewhere else, the pain will be disappeared. We will become aware of that pain when the mind comes back to that moment again. So as you're explaining that when you are paying attention to the right side, you feel more pain, right? And you experience more. But whereas when you have to pay attention to the left, but it's still in the right. But when you go into the left, you feel a less pain. Actually, pain is still there, but your awareness is not there. And that's how you feel release of that pain. Okay? So this is another form is called attachment or a grasping, that we are grasping. I think I have told my story that I have this a chronic back pain, and I have been to see the physios. And then one day, this physiotherapist, this lady, kindly told me, I think you are attached to your pain. And that was keeping my pain going on. And that was a click. And ever since, whenever there is sense of a little bit of a back pain, I channel my mind to observe the sensations in my on my back, and checking the spines and checking the muscles, which part of a muscle is intense. And oftentimes I realize, oh, the muscles in both sides are tense. And then I simply, move a little bit and relax the muscles, and I feel okay. But that doesn't mean the pain is gone for good. No. Okay. But I can feel free from that. And which is similar to our feelings and emotions too. Okay. And feelings and emotions too. Feelings and emotions are basically our attachment. We are holding on to that moment of somebody said to us or something happened on that day, or maybe a week ago, or a month ago, or a year ago. And our grasp to that, upadana, is holding on to it, makes me feel, or makes us feel, that this is still there in my heart. I still can feel the hurt like that. Right? And this is a grasp. And now, practice of a meditation, this mindfulness helps us to recognize that I am grasping it. Okay? And then the moment when we realize it, so that's why the realization comes. That's why the toilet simile comes, if you remember. Yeah? toilet simile comes. You realize that you need it. So you realize it. That realization opens the whole doors to be free from all the miseries. Okay? When we realize it, I am grasping it. Now I need to find the toilet to flush it away. Okay? So the grasp is the key. Right? That's why I often say a person who practices knows where is right and where is going wrong. The more we practice, we become a perfectionist on it. We become skilled. A meditation is no different to any other skills. We do, we see. If we do not do, it's just a speculation. Oh, if I meditate, I will be in this state and I will be in serenity. I can be filled and I can be blessed. It's the imagination. It's like, oh, after I eat the cake, I can feel, wow, wonderful, but you haven't eaten the cake. To feel the real bliss, you have to eat the cake. In meditation too, if you really want to know how it works, you have to do it. And that's why mindfulness meditation is to be mindful that you need to do it. And also known as remember to be mindful.
That's funny that you say that, because as I told, through meditation, I stopped smoking. And well, at least I have stopped smoking for 3 months. And so I concentrated also on this moment of release that you feel when you finally can smoke your cigarette. And I realized that it's not the moment when you light it up, but it's the moment before when you know you can light it up. And and so that was some kind of click moment where I said, well, the moment before I can have it anytime.
Yeah.
And I don't need to light up anymore.
Well done. Congratulations. Yeah. So you realize those feelings, you realize those wanting and desires, and you're able to make a choice. And that choice makes you feel happy. Yeah. So it makes you feel joy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, now when I see somebody smoking, I'm happy that I can smell it and I don't have to do it myself. And when I come close to a tobacco shop, for example, then I have first this feeling like, oh my God, do I have enough cigarettes tonight because I have smoked since 30 years? And then I'm like, no, I don't need that anymore. And then I feel so free.
Yeah. So yeah, being mindful of that desire, that willing to have it, and then you can take control over your feelings, your emotions. And this is same with every other feelings, every other emotions. It's the same. The only matter is we do not realize that moment. So we engage, we jump into that water, and then we are shocked.
And it's so exhausting when I mean, it's not only with cigarettes, it's with everything. We want so much, and it's exhausting me.
Yeah. I think I have told you my story, my experience of a coffee addict. Yeah. Have you heard? No? Okay. So it was a few years ago. I was very addicted to coffee. I take so many cups of coffees. And it was in 2000, I think 16. I went to Austria. And then I came to Switzerland. I went to Switzerland and I stayed in one of the temples in Switzerland that you can see the Mount Alps, somewhere nearby Bern. And then the night on the night when we arrived, we were given a beautiful coffees. Smells so good, fresh coffees, freshly blended coffees. There was a big machine there in the temple. And then when I went to sleep, there was a thought, okay, tomorrow morning, first thing in first, before going to chanting, I'm going to have this coffee. We'll relax and watch this Mount Alp from the windows, and then we'll go down to the chanting and meditation. I was so excited, and then wake up and went. I could not function the machine. I checked the electricity, it was perfectly connected. I checked the machine and it's perfectly there. Coffee beans were on the pot. I could not function it. And then it went about half an hour working on that, and I couldn't. And so I went down for meditation, chanting and meditation. And that morning's chanting and meditation was coffee meditation, coffee chanting. My voices are chanting the words of the Buddha. My mind is thinking of a coffee, how I couldn't function it. When I meditate, all I can think of this machine and this coffee. The smell of the coffee that I had last night. Okay? And that's how I was. So all this, about 45 minutes of chanting and meditation was a coffee chanting and coffee meditation. And after the chanting and meditation done, we had a light breakfast. Over the breakfast, I asked a monk, a resident monk, how do you function? And there was one small click that you have to press. Only then that whole machine functions. And I didn't know that. So, and I asked, where did you get this machine from? He said, oh, this is from Costco. And I thought, oh, Costco is just down the road from the temple in Aberdeen. I can have that one. And then I asked, what about the coffee beans? And he said, oh, this is also from Costco. Right? And then, okay, well, that's also down the road. There was so much plans and so much thoughts of wanting to have that coffee machine, wanting to have that coffee beans. And I planned so much. And it happened when I came back, I thought, this is too much. I'm too much attached to it. I better stop taking it. And then on the day when I arrived in Aberdeen, I stopped taking coffees. And that was like, whenever you feel this coffee, it's like a temptation just boils up. You want to have the coffee. When you go to the city, you see the coffee shops. The mind is just pulling, go and get it. Go and get it. Pulling into the coffee shop. But I managed to stop. And then after I managed to stop, and there was another thought came. These coffee shops become no means to me at all. I just ignored it. But I forgot that in the coffee shops, you can have a tea as well. To realize that these coffee shops sell tea took me almost a month to realize. So this attachment to this coffee, able to overcome seeing these temptations and the desires when it was boiling in me. And in a temple again, everybody drinks coffee. And then it's like, oh, the smell that comes and it just pulls you towards the coffee. And I can exactly relate to, not to the smoke, like a Janine, but I can see that whenever you you smell the smoke. Yeah, initially there must be a great temptation to go and get it, but now you manage to free yourself. And this is simpler because you manage to realize before that happens. And this is again the quality of being mindfulness allows you to see and recognize those emotions and feelings, and you can make a choice to stop before it happens. Well done.
Yeah, it's also that I can relate so much to your coffee machine experience, because I had that too. And there is some kind of like a child that's throwing around its toys. I just want to take the coffee machine and throw it against the wall. I get so angry. And then I'm like, my God, what is happening here? Look at yourself. And when it was with cigarettes, I mean, if you took away my cigarettes, I became a real monster. And I was really feeling ashamed about myself.
Yeah. So well done. Good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Good experience. And so now, once you have overcome one difficulties, now you can link with every other feelings and emotions. So addiction is not the problem. The problem is how we understand it. Many people say you can't change because it's been a habit for a long time. No, it's just your mindset. All you need is to realize, and you make choice. The moment when you conquer it, it's just the joy and happiness that brings. And more than that, you're saving your own money too. You're not spending money on that.
Yeah, but I spend it on Nutella. Now I'm working on my Nutella addiction.
Okay. Well done. Anyone else? Okay. So just to recap today's discourse, two types of meditations. One is concentration, and the second is Vipassana or insight meditation. In a Summative meditation, a concentration meditation is a practice to calm our mind, free from all the distractions, and then gaining the concentrated one-pointedness that brings joy and happiness and serenity of the mind. And this practice, again, if you can do, it's very easy to disconnect from any other disturbances you face in your life. But that's just the suppression, which is, again, if we come back to see the positive thoughts that are quite widely spoken, saying that you just need to give away all the negative and just think of a positive. It's like creating a dam. In my understanding, creating a dam is dangerous. And this is the practice of a meditation. The Summative meditation is similar to that, creating a dam. And then when we come out from meditation, sometimes cause difficulties to accept the situations that we are in. So that's why we need the Vipassana meditation or insight meditation that helps us to see things as they truly are. And our mind is like a wild horse. We just need to train it, because the trained mind brings choices to make a right choice. So we can see which choice to make and which choice brings happiness. Yeah. So that is the discourse and the practice. I introduced two practices. So one is the paying attention to the breath at the nose, observing the breathing in and breathing out. And the second is the body scan, the 7 parts body scan, and this is a systematically paying attention to it and observing the sensations. And that's again ways to calm our mind, as well as developing the panya, or the wisdom part, to see things that is always changing in flux. And so these are the two methods to practice. My intention is that following sessions, I will be focusing on the Satipatthana, because we've been practicing almost 2 years now in a general practice in different ways, just to generalize and to understand how to practice and the benefit of it. And now I believe that you have got sufficient information about general practice. And now we're going to move on to the discourses to get a more detailed explanation of each sections, that how it works, like paying attention to the breath. There are 16 stages of the breath, but we are not going to cover all 16. We will be covering only 4 sections of it. And then there are this body contemplation, not only the breath, but also walking, sitting, eating, and those practices as well. It involves even elements, the 4 elements, how 4 elements can be observed. And with that observation of the breath, the bodily elements and bodily functions helps us to notice these feelings, the happy feelings, or so-called pleasant and unpleasant feelings, and how these pleasant and unpleasant feelings causes a trouble to define things, and that also we focus on that. This is again in a 3 different stages, and after that, knowing this mind itself, when our mind is agitated, how much are we mindful of it? When we feel upset, what are the reactions? What are our reaction to it? When we do not get what we want, what are the reactions that we are reacting towards it? So these stages, again, we will focus on that stages, and then further on, holistically, it doesn't matter whether it is mind or whether it is about the physical body. Both works together, and both are conditioned. Body is condition created, so does mind too. So we will be able to see this connectivity and how these are connected, and ultimately seeing that things that is connected, interrelated, condition created, are subject to change. Although we do not want it, it's a natural phenomena that will change. So, and that is the part of a wisdom part. We're developing clear awareness, clear understanding. And with that, we're changing our perception towards things, towards emotion, towards other people. And now we're changing our attitude to it. So we will have a right understanding of things as they truly are. That's how we are moving towards living happy life. Well, that's a way to live happy life. From ignorance to the what is called intelligence. From negligence to mindfulness. Rather than living a negligent life, we become a person who is living mindfully. And every moment become so wonderful. Okay. Yes, Janine?
I want to share a very strange meditation experience that I had lately. So I was meditating quite a lot for a while, and I was meditating a lot about the way that we perceive the outside world, and the inside world in a way, and that there is no real connection in reality. It's just the interpretation of our mind from everything we see, that we feel, and everything. And one day that maybe I was trying too hard, you will tell me, because I had the impression that I was going in a wrong direction. It comes some kind of trip that I was on. So the meditation experience was quite intense, and I went out and I did walking meditation, and this how do I say that? This thought that everything that I see, that I feel the earth under my feet and the cold outside, that everything is just an interpretation of my mind. And then I had this impression, like, eventually I'm walking just on a rope and there's nothing around me. And I wouldn't even know it, like in the Matrix. And it was funny. It was not fearful or something like that, but I thought maybe I'm tripping or something like that, and maybe I'm trying too hard with the meditation.
Do not question that, okay? And do not question on your experience, and do not try to make sense of it, what is happening. Okay, in the practice, as your mind focused on your, suppose, let's say you're walking, when you are walking, when your mind is focused, that moment, the rest of other things that is not concerned will just fades away. It just disappears. It's like even though we are watching on, like say, if you're watching a movie on your mobile phone, this is a very small screen, right? And this very small screen, but when you are focusing on it, you will neglect everything. So it disappears, everything disappears. That's same with that concentration. As you develop your concentration, your mind is focused on one object. With that, then basically rest of other unnecessary things disappears. And that is a quality of your mind that become a one-pointedness. So that's why do not question of that. Okay? You should congratulate that you're able to pay attention to the job that you are doing without having any interference from outside. That's the quality of concentration. Well done. That I will tell you before we practice the loving kindness meditation. In December, as you all know, I was in Nepal. Yeah, and that was supposed to be family visit for some days, and then rest of the time should be for myself. But that was just my expectation, and it doesn't happen in our life, right? So after my niece's marriage is done, I went to help this cataract operation for 5 days. So over 700 people got the cataract operation. And after that, again, engaged in a different temple, particularly 3 temples, stories and other responsibilities just developed. And I felt that I was so caught up into this rhythm of working here and there again. So I was more busier than here in Aberdeen. So eventually I thought, okay, I need a break, right? So on one day, I switched off my mobile phone and I went to our famous pagoda, Buddhist pagoda. You may have seen the pagoda with the 2 eyes on the top, right? I went there, and this is a holy place for Nepalese and Tibetans as well. So I went up there. There's so many people there coming for different purposes, as tourists, as a pilgrimage and as someone who is worshiping as well. I chose one place in the midst of those people, and I sat down and I thought, okay, now this is my time. I'm going to chant. And my mind was simply focusing on this chanting book. I do not know who is coming. I do not know what's going on around us. So there were people sweeping at the beginning, I saw. There were people just ringing the bells and the monkey, plenty of monkeys wandering around. And my mind was simply focusing on the chanting. And I just chant and chant and chant until my eyes felt tired. And only then, when I opened my eyes, I realized still there are hundreds of people walking around. So I spent again, okay, now I closed my eyes and then meditated. So pay attention to my breath and pay attention to the tension, the tiredness in my eyes. And slowly I did the body scan of these 7 parts of body scan and relax my body. And then I was in that zone. Those noises, those monkeys didn't bother me anymore. I was complete in a silent mode, but aware what's happening. I spent about 10-15 minutes. And again, I come out from meditation straight away on the book, the chanting book. Again, everything just disconnected and start chanting. So I spent there at least for 4 hours sitting in that place, chanting and meditation. And the hundreds of people, the sweeping, the monkeys, tourists and pilgrimage, everybody were out of my screen. So that is the quality of our mind, that we can disconnect things away. Because your mind is fully absorbed into a task that you are paying attention to. So that's why in your practice, it's a quality of your mental state that you have developed, ability to disconnect from all the disturbances and distractions and pay attention to the job or the task that you are doing. And that's how you are leaving all other unnecessary things. Well done. Good. Okay, so let's practice loving kindness meditation, as we just need to finish it a little early so that our members are going to play a snow and skiing. We just had a snow now, and it's still snowing as well here at the temple today. Fortunately, we have electricity. So, right, let's practice the loving kindness meditation to finish off, okay? Okay, so bring your attention to be mindful of your body sitting here and now. Relax yourself. Imagine that you are sitting in front of the mirror and looking at your sitting body. Spend a few moments paying attention to the breath. So paying attention to the breath at the nose. Breathing in, breathing out. Settling down, grounding yourself. Now reflect for a few moments on today's discourse and practice. And bring your attention to be mindful of entire body, feeling, sensing, observing whatever sensations are there. Bring that attention to your hands, observing sensations in your hands. Whatever sensations are there, observing objectively. And bring that attention to your heart. Feeling the beating heart. You may smile to see the connection with your heart, or you can place your right hand on your heart to feel the beating heart, or simply physically smiling and see the connection with your heart. And as you feel the connection with your heart, generating loving kindness and compassion to yourself, allowing yourself to be happy and free from suffering. May I be happy. May I be at peace. May I be free from suffering. May I be liberated, liberated. So genuinely sharing these positive vibes to ourselves. Similarly, sharing loving kindness and compassion to all other sentient beings, starting from near dear one, those who are around us, in the house, in the community, in the country, on earth, in the universe, gradually expanding our connections. Wishing them from our bottom of heart, may they be happy. May they be at peace. May they be free from suffering. Offering these good vibes, good merits that we have accumulated today, and transferring it to them, sharing it to them. May everyone rejoice in it. Feel free, feel happy. May everyone is liberated, liberated. May they be free from suffering, free from hurtfulness, hatred, jealousy, ill will, animosities. May they be liberated, liberated. So bring your attention back to your hands, aware of sensations in your hand and to your body. Aware of sensations in your body Shift your attention to your eyes. And as you hear a gong, intentionally paying attention to that intention to open your eyes, slowly coming out from meditation and reflect for a few moments. Okay, so thank you very much. With the blessings of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha and all the good qualities that we have accumulated today, may you all be well and happy, stay healthy, happy, and prosperous in your life. Bless you all. Sadhu. Thank you, and we'll see you next session. So